Howdy, y'all. If you remember from a few days ago, I made a video on several different Android controller configurations, which to recap was Xbox 360, regular Xbox, Moga Pro, 6-axis, and the Wii Remote. Today it was brought to my attention that ePSXe updated itself to version 1.9.3, which allows for better stick support, fixes most of the stick problems in ePSXe, and finally offers native Moga support. Yeah, probably the only emulator so far that does at this time. So because of that, I'm going to revisit some of the pros and cons of the Moga controller. For the most part, all the other pros and cons are going to stay the same, but this is going to be an updated list. First off, as I just said with the pros, you get native Moga support and ePSXe, which is a good thing. I'll show you how to configure that in a moment. Additionally, no root access or endgame configuration is needed. Just tell the ePSXe emulator or other emulator that supports native Moga that you want the native Moga Pro or the native Moga support. Tell it that, you're good to go. Yeah! As I just said, the sticks are much better and fluent this time around. The Moga is no exception. Additionally, you know how the Moga controller comes with that free Pac-Man game offer or probably other offers? Well, now you have a reason to actually redeem it and keep the Moga Pivot app on your system. The cons, of course, is you do need the Moga Pivot app on and running, which is that 22 meg loaded thing on the Google Play Store. Additionally, the root actually is more of a yes and no kind of thing. It's true that you don't need root for ePSXe and other games and emulators that support native Moga support, but if you still want to use the Moga Universal Driver and other emulators that can use it, then you will need root access for that. Additionally, unless you have other games or emulators that support the native Moga controller, you will need to switch back and forth from the Moga Pivot app and the Moga Universal Driver and vice versa. Unfortunately, it still doesn't fix any of the other pros and cons, like you still don't get the mode button to toggle analog on and off, which is still easily configured in menu. You'll just have to remember to turn it on and off per game. Additionally, it still doesn't correct the crappy battery life that you get and all the other good and bad things. So I'm going to show off the Moga Pro today, as well as re-show off the Xbox 360 and the regular Xbox controllers. I'm not going to do the Wii support because I didn't do it last time. I'm not doing it this time. I'm not fooling with it. Additionally, I'm going to trust 6-axis is just as fluent, if not maybe a wee bit better than it was last time. So yeah, let's head on over to the Nexus 7 and let's see our new and improved ePSXe and Moga controller in action.
Okay, so we're back. And just as a fair warning before I go on here, the Moga controller does have two modes to it, as you know, A and B. While the ePSXe does work on mode A and mode B both, mode A is a better mode to use because on mode B you do not get the L2 or R2 trigger buttons. But with that being said, this is the configuration menu for the controller for ePSXe. All you gotta do is where it says Moga Native and ID, push it, and then of course check to make sure that it's set. And it says Moga, so you're good to go. Now if you have other controllers set up, you'll notice that each controller has like the name of the controller along with the number string, or letter and number string rather. For whatever reason, this one just says Moga Native, ID, and all those pound signs. So keep that in mind. It does still work the same way. As you can see, we are synced up, so we're good to go. So I'm going to go into game here. Going to go play some ePSXe like always, so I'll see you in a moment. Okay, so we're back and we're on the Moga controller, or should be. But in any case, here we go with the fluency test. Okay, so there's still a little bit of walkage, still some walkage. But as you can see, fluency... Sorry. Anyway, the fluency is much better than what it was before. It still walks from time to time, but it's not that bad. Okay, so let's give the stun club a try here. As you can see, the fluency is much better. So they obviously did a good job with this Moga controller and made a lot of improvements in it, and even added native support. So we're going to come back and go on the regular Xbox controller, and I'll see you in a moment. Okay, so now we're back with the Xbox controller this time. As you can see, the fluency is much better than what it was before. Additionally, it's almost as good as 6-axis. Almost. Now let's try out the other stick. Much better, much more fluent than what it was before. So we're going to come back on the Xbox 360 controller wired edition, and we'll give that a go. Alright, we're back. We're on the Xbox 360 controller. Now let's see how this works. Oh, okay, I really don't see too much of a change here. In fact, in my honest opinion, I think it's worse. Okay, I know I need to recharge my Nexus soon, but whatever. It's got just enough juice to run this test. Yeah, it really hasn't, I don't think it has improved that much. But nope. I get that, I get that, I get that, and nothing. So the controller improvements did not, unfortunately, make it over to the wired Xbox 360 pad. And just as a heads up, I did read later on that in order to get the wireless 360 controller to work, you do need the transmit and receiver hooked up to USB on the go, of course, and then you sync your Xbox controller with that. This works fine with most emulators and such, but for others you may need to look on XDA developers or find a driver for it. So yeah, thought I'd give you that heads up. Okay, so today we revisited 3 of the 5 Android controller configurations. To recap, it was the Moga Pro, the regular Xbox, and the Xbox 360 wired controllers. I'm not going to say that improvements were not made, because very clearly they were made, and I do wish that more people would support the Moga controller natively. But with that being said, I still prefer 6-axis overall. That really hasn't changed too much. But the Wii Remote finally gets last place, mostly because of the lack of support in Android 4.2.2 and possibly going forward, unless Google re-adds it back, or someone from CyanogenMod or Paranoid Android or something wants to re-add it back. I don't know, but oh well. The Moga controller and the Xbox regular controller, I would say, are tied for 2nd and 3rd place. I really can't place them because overall I do like the fluency improvements,
and the size of the regular Xbox controller, and I like the little stand that you get for the Moga controller. But I guess in terms of smoothness, like when it comes to switching between the drivers, I guess the regular Xbox would take second over the Moga, simply because the Xbox controller, you can just plug it in, you're good to go. Whereas with the Moga, you have to keep switching drivers if you want to use ePSXe or any native Moga support, as well as then go back to the Moga Universal driver for your other emulators and games, and vice versa. And Xbox 360, I do put that in 4th place. So, yeah. Anyways, this was a revisitation of the Moga controller, Xbox 360, and the regular Xbox controller. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope that this quick correction will also influence your decisions on which controllers to buy and stay away from, and which Android devices to buy and stay away from as well. Anyways, I'm Adventure Link, and we're going to close this video out as always by putting Eric the Car Guy and saying, be safe, have fun, and stay dirty. And additionally, if you have any questions about this video, as well as the other video review that I did on the other 5 controllers, any questions, comments, concerns, praise, criticisms, etc., hit me up in the comment section. If you have any questions about Android devices as a whole, as well as iOS, BlackBerry / Research in Motion, and Windows Phone, also as a whole, hit up the XDA developer forums. But just as a fair warning, the community on XDA is bigger than most semi-trucks, so search the board before posting, let alone make a nick. Most likely, your question was already answered once, if not several times, so again, search before posting. It's warm outside, so make sure you stay cool and stay hydrated, stay dry when it's rainy, and stay healthy, and stay warm and bundled up if you have to when it's cold. And don't forget to scan your spook, and sometimes your P-slip. And remember, I'm bad, and that's good. I will never be good, and that's not bad, because there's no one I'd rather be than me. See you next time. Have a nice day.